again to talk about atomic structure. In a previous video, I showed you how a molecule is formed from 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. Today, I'd like to go over a little bit more information about the atom and atomic structure. In an atom, we've learned that the first shell has 2 electrons. It has room for 2 electrons. The second shell has room for 8 electrons. Okay? Now, the periodic chart also tells you this. It tells you the number of electrons in the outer shell. When you find that out when you count how many protons or look at the atomic number that an atom has. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, I hope. I use these models. This happens to be a stove burner cover, and this is one that's a little bit larger. Now, I have painted 2 yellow dots in the small one, and I painted 8 little dots, little yellow dots in the bigger one. I'm going to create a model. And remember, a model is a representation of something that cannot be seen, like a globe is the model of the Earth. Okay? I'm just going to create a model of a hydrogen atom. Okay, hydrogen on the periodic chart is number 1. I'm going to put 1 proton in the center to represent the hydrogen atom. Now then, because I have 1 proton, I will only have 1 electron, because electrons and protons have opposite charges, the electron being negative, the proton being positive, and that will never change. You can take that with you the rest of your college courses or your high school courses, because this is the truth. Okay, I have not yet shown you isotopes or ions or valence numbers. So, we can see here that hydrogen just has 1 proton. The mass also tells us the mass is 1, so therefore it can't have, just plain hydrogen can't have a neutron. Otherwise, it would have a mass of 2. Okay, let me show you an isotope of hydrogen. All I'm going to do is add a neutron to the nucleus, and we have an isotope of hydrogen. If I add another neutron to the nucleus of a hydrogen atom, I have another isotope. Like this, it would have a mass of 2. Like this, it would have an atomic mass of 3, because the protons and neutrons are counted in that way, and they all have 1 mass unit. Therefore, they have this has a mass of 3. All right. I have told you before that when an atom does not fill up all of the little spaces in an orbit, okay, then they will probably want to add another electron. So this leads me to a discussion of an ion. We covered isotopes. I want to go to ions. If I have a hydrogen atom here, chances are pretty good that it's going to grab an electron to fill this shell. All right? Okay, then let me show you what happens in this charge. If I have 1 proton, okay, 1 big plus, 1 proton, and then I end up with, this pen is not going to work very well. Let me see about this one.
Might need to make them a little bit bigger.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I have 1 proton. It's a very sloppy plus sign, but there it is. Then I have 2 electrons, just like I showed you in this model. Okay, then this atom would be an ion, which is nothing more than an atom with a charge. And in this case, my atom would be a negative like to tell you about valence numbers. To do that, I will have to create a bigger atom than hydrogen. So therefore, I will go to, let's pick one from the periodic chart. I'll go with lithium. Lithium is number 3 on the periodic chart. That tells me right away it's going to have 3 protons. That's the atomic number for lithium. Then, since lithium, I believe, has a mass of 7, okay, then what does that tell me? It tells me that there are 4 neutrons in the nucleus of the lithium atom. All right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 neutrons, and we have 1, 2, 3 protons. 3 plus 4 is 7. Now, how many electrons will I have? Because I have 3 positive protons, I'm going to have 1, 2, I'm out of room. So what do? I go to my next level, and I add an electron. Okay, so now I have the valence number for lithium. It has 1 for valence number. The valence of lithium is 1 because it has 1 electron in its outer shell.
What does valence mean?
Valence means the outer shell. Okay? It has to do also with covalent bonding. When you have covalent bonding, you have a sharing of electrons. When you have ionic bonding, you make an ion out of one of the elements. Okay, do you have any more questions? Okay. I am extremely impressed with organizations that point out what's wrong with evolution. And I'm going to just quickly mention this. Back in 1927, following Einstein's announcement of the theory of relativity, which happens to be E equals mc squared, or energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. The speed of light happens to be 187,000 miles a second, give or take a few miles. That's the average. Anyway, he came out with the theory of relativity, and this man, Georges Lemaitre, and I'm not sure if that's how to pronounce this, but I am spelling it for you, so you can look this up on your own. Please look up anything you want to about anything that I say. Well, anyway, he proposed that nearly 20 billion years ago, the universe was a simple, tiny atomic particle, and that in one cataclysmic flash, it expanded outwards to become the universe we know today. Edwin Hubble, for whom the Hubble telescope is named, he came along and he expanded his theory. And again, I am going to point out that this was a theory, not a fact, and there's a big difference. Okay, Edwin Hubble helped support this theory by proving that the universe was indeed expanding, and it is. But I propose a question. Where did that one little primeval atom come from? What kind was it? How could it expand into all the galaxies that exist in our universe? How could it become a sun? Was the atom hydrogen? Was it helium? Was it carbon or nitrogen or oxygen? We need more information. And where in the world did it come from? Big question. Okay, and if it expanded into all the galaxies and the planets and the sun, then how could that happen when the sun is made of hydrogen atoms turning into helium? On our own Earth, we have zinc and copper and lead and all kinds of other elements. Where did they come from? I cannot accept this theory. I have to go with God creating all of it, every single bit of it. And the more I learn science, the more I believe that God had to create. There's too much intelligence went into creating our world. Too much intelligence went into creating atoms. They all combine perfectly. I have many, many questions, and if someone can convince me that evolution is correct, I will listen. But I still have not met anyone who can totally convince me that God did not make our world. Thank you very much.